Well, that's Malam Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. To a major story that we'll be talking about tonight on the program. The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate a lawmaker, Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, over comments he made accusing the PDP of masterminding the resolutions of the House at a joint executive session. Representative Jibrin had, in a press statement on behalf of the Parliamentary Support Group, a group of lawmakers in support of President Muhammadu Buhari, condemned the resolutions of the National Assembly. He alleges that during the executive session, members of the APC present declined joining the discussion to avoid a rowdy confrontation. The House is worried that a lawmaker would make such strong accusations against the PDP when the joint session was well attended by members of the National Assembly from all political parties. This is the second time he is being investigated.
Yesterday was a PDP affair, and members that spoke in that meeting were all PDP members.
It is an issue, Mr. Speaker, which Honorable Kazare raised, that Honorable Osai is a leading voice and a leading figure of collecting names to impeach Mr. President.
My ruling will be very simple, and I have a problem with members who don't come for sitting, and they absolutely don't know what we do here. But anytime a decision is taken, they're the first to approach the press in order to address them. That sitting of yesterday was open to all of us. If anyone felt that it was just PDP that was doing the sitting, he ought to have come and then raise his voice.
Well, also we can tell you that the one involving Honorable Kazare is also to appear before the committee after a fellow lawmaker, Honorable Osasa, who also spoke there, complained to the House that Kazare had accused him of collecting names and signatures for the impeachment of President Muhammadu Buhari. Well, let's get to the conversation. Perhaps before we go into that, let me remind you of what transpired yesterday. If you missed the program yesterday and you perhaps have lost touch with some of the news in town, the fact that at the end of the executive session, which the joint members of the National Assembly held yesterday, they came up with about 12 items, part of which is that they had decided that they will invoke their constitutional powers should the president not act on some of the recommendations they made. And so these are some of the conditions they gave President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday. And after that meeting, a group called the Parliamentary Group came out to say that decision was a decision largely of the PDP members in the National Assembly. And this is what has generated the controversy. Don't forget, Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin had served some punishment from his colleagues, which the court has quashed. Well, he joins us via telephone to tell us what exactly is the stake over this matter. Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, thank you so much for your time on the program tonight. Are you alone? Were you the only person involved in that group, parliamentary group, the press statement that was signed by you? Because it looks so much that some of your colleagues are disagreeing with you on perhaps a group. They say you are alone in that scenario. Honorable Jibrin, we can hear you loud and clear. So the question I asked is that some of your colleagues are angry with you. They believe that you are not saying the right thing, especially as regarding the group you talked about. In the statement you signed, they said there's nothing like that group, and you perhaps are just speaking alone. How many of you are in that group?
Well, of course, you'll expect that kind of reaction. Because you've had maybe perhaps a kind of a leadership that has not been comfortable with showing the fact that the president has support in the House of Representatives. So I think there was a bit of a panic. It's like a shock. But I can assure you that the president has support in the House, and there are a lot of members in that group. And the statement that I made yesterday, I stand by the statement. It was not my personal statement. It was well thought out by members of the parliamentary support groups, including two principal officers of the House of Representatives. When we get to the bridge, we will cross it, and all the names will come out. And both the House and, of course, the Parliamentary Support Group members in the Senate discussed this. Even members that were out of the country, some in Saudi and the rest, we had that discussion. And my responsibility as a spokesperson, I have to now put my signature on the statement. So I stand by it. And
Mr. Jibrin, what is perhaps giving a lot of people concern is that you just came back from a punishment, a suspension period meted on you by the House. You're not weary of this kind of situation. You still went ahead to be the spokesperson of this kind of group against the will of what they call the majority of the members of the House.
Yeah, but you see, you don't, when you know you're doing the right thing, you don't give people the pleasure to suppress the right thing. You see, I can't be God. I cannot. So the whole idea is to ensure that the voices like ours are no longer in existence in the Parliament. And so I'm not bothered about the issue of just coming back from suspension or whatever. After all, I have spent 230 days in suspension. But once you see things are not being done properly, or when you see the truth, you need to talk.
Okay, before I allow you go, Honorable Jibrin, as it stands right now, it does look like another disciplinary measure will be in place. They have asked you to face the Ethics Committee. What do you think will happen?
I don't think that because the gentleman who spoke on the floor of the House said I made certain comments that misrepresented what transpired on the floor of the House. But what I said is clear. It's there in the public clear. What is it that I said that is not true? Is it the fact that most of the people that spoke at the session are not PDP members? Over 90% of them are PDP members. Is it the fact that some of the issues that were discussed have already been discussed at the level of the Senate and the House? So what is it that it is not? What is it that I say that is not true? So this is the cross of the matter. So we need to deal with it. Look, some people have made up their mind to leave the APC. We are going to stay in the AP. So we have a responsibility to defend our party.
All right. Honorable Jibrin, I must really thank you for your thoughts tonight on the program, and I wish you the very best in the coming days. Thank you so much.